What is up, everybody? My lighting wasn't right. Maybe it's not right now.
Let us know. I don't even know if anyone's going to be on here, just because we normally do these on Wednesdays, but yesterday was Christmas.
Yes.
So we did not want to come on. We were spending time with our family. But let us know when you come into the chat. We would love to chat with you. I don't know how big. What did you just do?
I don't know.
What are you trying to do?
I don't know.
So I don't know if I've updated you guys, but we've been having a hard time editing videos because, hey Lema, what's up? What's up, Reseller King? Still working on that 19 questions video. I apologize. I'm slacking.
It's the holidays.
Hey Michelle, how are you? So we have been. Joe got me a surprise. He got me a new MacBook.
I did. I tried to get her a non-MacBook, but once I realized that she needed a Mac, just because she's used a Mac for like how long?
I don't even know. I mean,
since I was like
10 years. What year is it? 2020. So 12 years.
Yeah.
So I've used it for a while. I didn't have a problem with Windows. I don't have a problem with Windows at all, or Microsoft or anything. I just have, when you're used to something and then it takes a while to learn, I was like not very efficient and everything like that. So I ended up getting, it's not my permanent computer, but he found a really great deal. The reseller in him found a really great deal on a late 2014 model MacBook Pro. So I've been using that. So hopefully we won't have any delays in videos. We normally post a how-to video on Mondays, but was unable to do so. I apologize. But we will have one for you next Monday. So
yeah, it's crazy how much. I mean, it's how is that? 5 years? 5-year-old MacBook, isn't it? 2014. Yeah. But it's still like we got it for $450, and
which is a great deal.
They're selling for $700 on eBay. So getting it for $450 was a steal, and that's the only reason why I got it was because of the price. And when we sell hers, pretty much we upgraded a newer year and got 16 gigabytes of RAM versus 4 gigabytes of RAM on hers. And so it's going to be a good deal. It's like we're only going to pay like $50 for a brand new or a year newer and a lot more RAM. So we're excited about that. I'm
so glad to see all of you guys here. That's awesome. Yep. I wasn't sure if you guys were going to be here or not. I know a lot of people are traveling. I know Reseller King, he's traveling and everything. And yes, Land Shark Craig, Picker.
They do. And it's crazy. Like, I know there's lots of different Facebook groups out there about flipping Macs. If you have the money and you have like $800 to drop on a MacBook and turn around and sell it for like $1,200 in a couple of hours or a couple of days, there's a big market for it. So,
yes. And I just, honestly, the big thing, it's like, I'm not one of those, like, Apple has done a great job of building their brand. They have a lot of loyal brand mates, and I don't really feel like I'm a part of that. I do feel like I like the operating system, and, to be able to use the programs that I need to use, it's pretty much either Windows or Mac. I've even looked into Linux and other operating systems, but that would require me to learn. I know Adobe Suite. Like, I know the whole Adobe Suite. I know Photoshop. I know all of that. I use Premiere Pro to edit videos. It's just something that I've learned and I know. So, I just don't really have the time to learn something new. So this is where we're at. So, and yes.
Good for you, Reseller King. Our eBay sales have been in the poop chute the last week. So I'm glad that today is better today. But they haven't been all that great. It's like once the cutoff time for getting guaranteed shipping by Christmas passed, like the sales dropped off tremendously.
Also, hi Mary. I just saw your thing.
And Action Jackson. I haven't seen Action Jackson. Have you seen Action Jackson?
Action Jackson. Hello, fellow flipper.
So,
and then who else? Reseller Man. What's up, Lamo friend? So, anyways, all right.
So what are we doing to head into the new year?
What are we doing to head into the new year?
So it starts next week. Next year is next.
Next year's
next week. So it's crazy. And then like another year has gone by. And we're not where we were, where I thought we would be. this time last year. But it's crazy. Like when you think of,
I mean, if you think about it, this time last year, we had that warehouse, and we were making a lot of reactionary decisions, trying to figure out how to sell a whole bunch of pallets that we bought.
In the next decade, that is right.
It is the next decade, the 20s, the roaring 20s.
Yeah.
So yeah, and so I would say that 2019 for us has been, I'm rubbing my head because it's like, when I think about it, like I might be a little traumatized. Like it was it was a hard year. And for us to be where we are now is nothing short of a miracle. Because we've had so many setbacks and we've had so many hard lessons. And so I think that going into 2020, like I want to take these lessons that we've learned. I think, 2018 was really a year where we were too careful. And we didn't have any growth, and we didn't have, a lot. We had like a little bit here, a little bit there, but we were very.
Last year?
No, 2018, and then 2019, which is this year that's passed, was one where we did a lot fast. Like we were like, well, we need to pick up the pace. We need to do this. We need to do this. I see potential. I see this. And so I think 2020 is going to be the year where we really learn how to balance things. Joe and I have learned how to communicate a lot better. For those of you who don't know us very well, Joe is a very fast-paced individual. He makes very fast decisions. He's one of those jump first, ask questions later. I know what I want. I see it. I'm going for it. And I'm like, I'm the exact opposite. I'm the kind of person that's like, whoa, let's look at all the possible options. And so Joe and I, we have a lot of our conversations when it comes to the business is me saying, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? And he says, let's just cross that bridge when we get to it, because we may spend all of this time worrying about it and it never actually be an issue. So a lot of our conversations really go around that, but we've learned a lot on how to communicate with each other, how to validate each other's fears and what we want for the business. And I want to use that. I want to utilize that to be a stronger power couple, and make the right decisions for our business. So I actually do. I normally don't go into New Year's going like, oh my gosh, I'm very realistic. And I'm just like, maybe we'll do it. Maybe we won't, like kind of thing. But this year I'm actually very hopeful and very excited about doing it. I think YouTube is going to play a big part. One of our big goals for 2020 is to grow grow YouTube. We want to stick with a consistent posting schedule. We still want to give these how-tos. We just have a plethora of knowledge that we want to share with everybody regarding this. We also want to continue with the vlog, share our life with you, and then continue these live streams because I think that they're powerful. I learn a lot from you guys. And it's always fun to connect with everybody. As for the business, you want to talk a little bit about kind of? No? Okay. He doesn't.
I don't know what to talk about. What do we say?
Well, we have set more realistic expectations on our listings.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that, we wanted to do, we discovered that we set these lofty goals and we try to figure out how to do it. But instead of maybe this year we want to make more, well, let's do smaller steps and build up a lot slower. Then, we have this vision for 300 listings a week, which is great, but we don't have the means to do that. So we're trying to be more realistic about setting our goals on how many listings we can do a week with the full-time lister that we have, our virtual assistant, and then us. Yeah,
I tend to be overly optimistic in that, and what I mean by that is like whatever I think can happen, like that's like the minimum. I don't plan for I really don't think about setbacks or like, well, if this goes wrong, then this. So I don't really think about it in realistic terms. So that's one thing that we got fuzzies. I took a nap with Lucas today. And, but I don't really look at it realistically in some ways. And oftentimes, it gets us in trouble because then I start planning on those highs and I'm like, this is what we can do. And then we get into it. I'm like, no, this isn't this is not really fathomable within the time period that I think that it could happen. It's a lot of been really thinking about a lot of like farmers and stuff. We're going to do a video at some point about it, but just around the idea, like, our generation and really Gen X, like people don't farm anymore. Like people don't have gardens. And, if you do have a garden, then you probably understand what I mean is that with farming or gardening, that things always take longer than you expect. Like we live in such a world where we want food. Well, we don't wait for it to grow. Like we just go to the store and we buy it. We want a new cell phone, we go buy it. We want new clothes, we just go buy it. One, because, it's just readily available for us everywhere we go. But also we live in a credit card culture to where if you don't have the money for it, no problem. Visa, you just go use the Visa. So like, there's no like enduring, there's no like people really our age, like there's no steadfastness, there's no endurance, there's none of these things because we're just so used to just going and getting that we're not really used to all the hardships along the way, or like, hey, this is actually going to take time. I'm not going to get out and be able to list, 300 items a week, which, for us, that's not a very stretch goal, but just in general, like if say you're starting out reselling. So that's one thing that I'm really learning about myself is like things are going to take a lot longer than I expect. And there's going to be setbacks. It's like when you plant a garden, like you've got to prepare the soil first. And then, you ultimately, you plant the seeds and they just don't grow overnight. You do actually start producing fruit. Like in order to produce more fruit in those things, you've got to tend the garden to make sure that you're taking off leaves and branches that aren't producing any fruit. So if you apply that to reselling, like looks like our internet connection is a little unstable. I think it corrected itself. But just in reselling, like there's certain things about your reselling business that may be producing fruit, but it's actually keeping the whole reselling business from producing more fruit. So I think sometimes when we spend our time and energy doing certain things, that's actually taking away the nutrients and the minerals from our full reselling business. It's actually stifling our business instead of causing it to grow more. So,
you imagine a plant. In other words, you imagine a plant that is growing and you're like, and I see this a lot with tomato plants. This happened to me last year. We had I wouldn't call it a successful garden. I would call it,
it was successful in the realm of learning.
Yes, we learned a lot from it, but it wasn't like this amazing fruitful garden that you would see like in a magazine or something. But one of the things that I got really excited, I grew a plant with cherry tomatoes on it, and I wanted it to keep growing. And one of the things that I did was, Joe even told me, he was like, we should cut the fruit and the flowers off of this tomato plant. It's blooming too early. And if it blooms really early, then it's focusing on reproducing. And when it grows fruit is so that it can spread its seeds, right? So if you imagine like a plant is very much like a teenage boy. And when it grows, right, as it's focusing on growing, once it hits like a sexual maturity, then its only focus is now reproducing. So it's not going to grow longer roots. It's not going to grow longer stems. It's not going to try and grow more fruit. So a lot of farmers and gardeners, when they're growing something, like tomatoes, you'll find that they, early in the season, they'll actually pick off the flowers. Mm-hmm. And the reason why they pick off those flowers that will turn into tomatoes, if you're somebody who's very, fast-paced and you're like, oh, I got flowers, that means I'm going to get tomatoes or I'm going to get cucumbers or whatever, then yeah, absolutely, you will get it. But then the plant stops growing. The roots stop growing. It stops growing in height. And all it's going to do is this small bushel that's going to grow a smaller fruit and a smaller, it may not even fully get ripe, which I learned with my bell peppers that they actually never fully were able to ripen. The plant wasn't big enough to sustain it. So the fruit took all of the nutrients. Selling business is that sometimes we try to grow too fast. We're like, oh, I want to grow it in this way, or I want to grow it in this way. I want to buy pallets. I want to do this. I want to do that. But can your roots, can your foundation fully sustain the drain? And I think Joe and I got into a huge issue with this when we got addicted to buying pallets for a while. And
they're so much fun.
They're so much fun. But we did not have the bread and butter. For y'all who know us, who don't know us, our bread and butter is consumer electronics. We buy a lot of consumer electronics. We source them from different places, and we use that because we know that they sell. We know through rate. We get it. We understand it. There's a huge learning curve that we've learned, like cell phones and GPS systems and things like that. And so now that we've learned that, like, we need to solidify that. And because we didn't solidify that before we started buying truckloads of pallets, the pallets sucked the nutrients out of our business, and our foundation, our bread and butter, could not sustain it. And so the big part of, a big part of reselling, and a big thing that we want to focus on in this new year as we're learning, and sharing this process with you, is how do we be patient? How do we grow our roots? How do we grow a stronger foundation, a stronger plant to produce better fruit for us, that's, produce financial stability, or if you were a gardener, producing better fruit that doesn't kill your plant. Sellers, but they're gardeners. They're homesteaders, and we talk all the time. They're close Christian friends of ours, and we like to talk about things, scriptural basis and stuff like that. And we found this beautiful connection. I feel like the Lord really share some of that with you. So that's going to be part of, I think, the process for 2020 for us, is helping ourselves and then helping everybody else who wants to be a part of this with us grow stronger roots, grow a stronger reselling business.
Yeah, I think reselling, it's so easy because of comparison.
Yes. Because
there is such a large community of resellers, either on YouTube or on Facebook, that they compare sales, and they people, in some groups, they'll show off their scores and their finds, and how many items they're shipping out and this and that. And then some people who may not be doing well, like, well, I'm not doing that well, so I may be doing something wrong. So maybe I need to be buying what they're buying. So then they start changing up their model a lot and things that they're passionate about in order to be like somebody else. But then it's just not really, it's not their garden.
It may be true that what you're sourcing, it's not good seed, or it's not good fertilizer, or it's not good something. And that's true. But when we start comparing with each other without actually knowing the full details, not truly understanding our own soil, or I don't know what we're going to just keep going with this metaphor, but like without knowing truly what you have in your own backyard, it doesn't matter what you change, right? Like it doesn't matter. It's what works in our garden is not always going to work in yours. We may be in a different growing zone. Like, I'm just going to keep going with this metaphor because it's wonderful. But I know you guys are like, okay, we're resellers, stop talking about gardening. But really, truly, like, it is a beautiful, like, we've been sitting on this for so long, and it's been on our hearts. He's been talking about it nonstop, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And I really want to see everybody's garden. I want to see everybody's reselling business flourish in a way that works for you guys. I want you guys to know what your climate is. I want you to know what your market is. I want you guys to know what your soil is, your sourcing, your seed. Where are you getting all of this stuff? Is it sustainable? And is it something that you can build a strong foundation on, that you can grow? And so we're going to share our story with you. We're going to start walking with that. Like, how are we doing that? And, it's, as you can tell, we're very passionate about it. But that's good. Got to get rid of those tares from the wheat. Yeah.
And there's always things in and
then Action Jackson has a question that you can probably answer for him. He says, will it hurt my top seller plus rating if I put my store on 3-day handling?
No. If you put your store in 3-day handling, as long as you're shipping those items within 3 days, then you're okay. But outside of that, there's no worries. You'll be fine.
Sorry, I was just gonna thank Delights.
Yes, but like with that, actually, just a little side thing. It's always like, as a reseller, like a lot of resellers, they're resellers because they don't trust other people. They don't want other people like doing stuff. But it's always good to find a family friend, somebody that you trust, either a relative or somebody that you trust, that can ship items for you, so that especially if you go out of town, you go for the weekend, you go on vacation, so you don't have to put your store in vacation mode or change your handling time. I know for us, like very early on, I remember our first, the only time that I ever shut my store down, I put it in vacation mode. It took us a good 2 or 3 months to recover, because just the way that it's in the algorithm. And then after that, I'm like, I've got to find, like, if we're ever going to have some type of freedom, from this business, because the whole thing about being resellers is we do it because we have freedom, but then so many people, so many resellers actually become enslaved to it that there's no way out because they choose this lifestyle and it's not really freeing. But I don't want to go down that tangent because that's another one. But just finding somebody, I would encourage everybody who doesn't have somebody, like if you plan your year out and you're like, I want to go on vacations, I want to take some weekends off, who can ship for me? Who can I trust to train that can ship for me if I wanted to take vacation or I wanted to go out of town for a couple of days, to where I don't have to, my store doesn't have to change operating functions the way it's currently operating. So yes. But I don't know, I was going to go somewhere.
I don't know. I mean, we were just talking about like what 2020, what we feel 2020 is holding for us. And, you know, if you guys want to share what's going on with you, or if you guys want to comment on that, please do.
I think it's just, I'm learning to set more realistic expectations. I think that's really the biggest lesson I've learned this year, is to set realistic. And I don't even like, I dream big. Like sometimes I guess a strength of mine is I'm extremely confident. I'm extremely confident, but it's also a weakness. Why are you laughing at me for?
I'm not. You're cute. Keep going.
Yeah. She's probably been thinking about this for months. I'm like, how you realizing it? Yeah. But I'm an extremely confident person. You know, I started working, I was 14 years old, have had lots of different growth in business. She's still laughing at me. It's distracting.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But also weakness is I'm extremely confident. Like I tend with that as I believe I can make anything happen. And with that, I mean, if you have unlimited amount of money, you can make anything happen because you.
What did you do?
You did that.
I didn't do that. I'm sorry.
We don't know. Are we still streaming?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
We are.
All right. She got a phone call and it connected to her computer. But with that, I'm just learning to like really set realistic expectations within the time frame, and just that analogy of the garden and farming. And I say all that to say is like most people like me, you know, like a lot of people I've talked to, like they don't know how to endure. Like farmers, like you talk to like old school, I don't know where you live. I mean, if you live in the city, you may not really know any old timey farmers, or in bigger cities, I don't know. But like here in Arkansas, you can, you know, different areas of town, you can go find some old schooly farmers, and like you look at them and like they have worked a hard life, but they like, because they have done this for so long, they're able to endure, they're able to problem solve, they're able to not just stop what they're doing. Whenever it gets harder, it's not producing the fruit they want, they know how to adjust. Like it's like when they plant crops, like in their fields, like they do it with years in mind. They don't just go like, well, I'm going to grow this year, and then next year when it comes time to plant, they don't just like, all right, well, let's just plant this. Like there's a strategy with how they're going to plant and what they're going to plant, so that it doesn't strip all of the minerals out of the soil. Like, because some plants are better on the soil, some plants need certain type of materials in the soil, some plants need other things.
And the beautiful thing is sometimes you plant one thing one year and it replenishes the soil for the next crop the next year, which is, I mean, that's amazing to me. Like that's so mind-blowingly amazing. Yeah.
And like, but a lot of people and resellers, because most people, I'm going to say it, like we're generally, because of how we are, just living paycheck to paycheck. And I say that because, you know, over half the Americans in the United States spend 1.5% more than they make. Like half the people, so I could assume half of you who are watching are operating in survival mode, and we've operated out of survival mode for the majority of our marriage. Just because you're in it, it's just the moment. So like, how else? Why are you going to plan for years when you're just trying to get through this month, this week, this season? But farmers, they have a multi-year plan. Like they know what they're going to plant several years from now to help enrich the soil that they have. So like as resellers, like what is your plan for next year? Like most people, I guarantee that we just got done with Christmas, but 95% of the resellers
are not thinking about Christmas.
They're not thinking about Christmas next year. right? They're just thinking about, all right, well, it's January. How am I going to get through this slow period? So then the summer slowdown comes, and then you're like, oh, I'm getting more money now because of September, October sales. I'm buying as much stuff for Christmas, and then it starts that cycle all over again. But like, how do you, like, we're really trying to figure out, like, how do we stop the cycles? How do we, because there are, even with cell phones and stuff, there are some months where it is slower. But being in business for long periods of time, as you do it, you start to understand the business, but it's also talking to other resellers that have been doing it a long time to understand the flow of the seasons that we're in. But even all that is kind of changing just because of the buying habits of consumers. So I would just encourage everybody, because you're going into 2020, like, look at the cycles that you have had this past year. And if you've been doing it for longer periods of time, look at if there's any similar cycles. And I say cycle, it's like, can you explain that in a way? Like a cycle, like, so they can, if they don't know what a cycle is, because we use it in a term like we understand, but I don't know about everybody.
I mean, when you're thinking about cycles, it's something that repeats itself over and over again. If you're in a business and you're consistently seeing during a certain season slower sales, well, that's you're perpetuating that cycle by doing the exact same thing that you were doing, because you cannot, like, a lot of people talk about the summer slowdown in the reselling community. Well, if you have perpetually every single summer a slow period and you're doing the exact same thing, then you can absolutely expect that you're going to have slow sales because you've done nothing different. What helped you, whatever helps you get out of it, what can you source that will help you get through this summer slowdown? That essentially, and that's how you break the cycle. You do market research, you figure out what people are buying. What do people buy in the summertime? How can I obtain some of those and source some of those items so that I can supplement my sales? And you're breaking a cycle there. So then you'll find that you're not, experiencing, you're not experiencing slow sales during the summer like you usually did, because you've done the work to try to figure out how to break that cycle. So a cycle, basically what the cycle that Joe is talking about is, are you doing, are you experiencing a negative effect in your, in your business? Okay. There are some things that you can't control, granted, but there are a lot of things that you can. What can you do to make sure that doesn't happen again? If you're seeing it happen over and over and over again, then we need to find something to break those cycles as we go through.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it. Just planning for a year in advance so that you could start planning now to prevent those cash flow times, or those times where you don't have a lot of sales. And that's kind of, it's a big goal for us this year.
I mean, a big example is that we started selling cameras this year. That was a new thing that we tried. And there are things that we've tried that didn't work out. We're like, oh, well, we can source we tried used Fitbit watches. And we're like, oh, we could source these for this much, sell them for this much, but we still got a whole bunch of them sitting on our shelves because they didn't sell like we anticipated that they would. And so that's something that, we were hoping would carry us through. It didn't. And now we're like, okay, we'll sell what we've got and we'll move on. We did the same thing with cameras because we just came across a lot of cameras one day and we're like, oh, okay, well, we're going to buy these for this much an item. We could probably resell them for this much. Turns out it worked out really well. We've also discovered that during Christmas time, people are buying a lot of cameras.
Ridiculous amounts of cameras. They were doing great.
So next year, we want to continue to buy cameras. But I think one thing Joe and I were talking about, I think if they're going to buy them for Christmas, we would have better luck if we could find them with boxes and chargers and things like that.
Sell them as complete kits.
So if we could so that's a plan that we have in mind, so that 6 months before Christmas, we can make sure that we're
ordering SD cards, getting chargers, all those types of things.
Right. So that's what we're trying to break these cycles. And not only that, if the cycle isn't even broken, I mean, we found cameras that really helped carry us through fourth quarter. How can we make that better next year? It doesn't have to be reactionary to something bad happening. It's, okay, this quarter I did this much. That was pretty good. How can I make it better next year?
Yep.
So, and that's what we're talking about, and getting to the root issues of what is causing these issues in reselling, groups and reselling communities, and how can we help other people find their climate, find out what their market is, find out what their soil is, find out, what they need to source. And that's a big thing that we want to be able to do in 2020, not just for ourselves, but for all of you that are here with us.
Yeah, I think that's what makes us different than other YouTube reselling channels. Like, we can never give you a BOLO list. We can tell you where to buy pallets and stuff, and I'll never tell you where I buy my phones
or cameras.
But like, you won't find BOLOs here. Like, that's not our sourcing method. That's not a strength of ours. It'd be like, my Jolene going out and getting her little camera and going to Goodwill. I'm like, you should buy this. Like, that's kind of like it would be for us. Like, we may go and have fun at the Goodwill and record some videos of us learning. But, I think that's what, we're just about, sharing our experiences, what we're going through, being like, I guess maybe to just charge people to think about their reselling business, and that it's not always, at the end of the day, like, you can have the best items in the world and you can get them for the best price, but there's still going to be other things. Like, just because you find the items at the right price, there's still so many aspects to your business that has to look at, that just because you get them at the right price and the right amount, that's not going to cause you to be a great reseller or to have a successful business. Yeah. There's many, many different aspects.
I mean, the truth is if you're looking for a formula, if you're looking for what to buy, what to sell it for, and on what platform, we can't give that to you. We don't know it. Maybe there's another YouTuber out there, another reseller out there that might have this perfect formula for you. And if that's what you're looking for. But we're not interested in giving out formulas. We're not,
because my formula wouldn't work for you. Like, you can go buy that $1,000 formula from somebody else, but your ingredients may not work with that formula.
We're not interested in giving you fish. We're interested in teaching how to fish.
Yep.
What we've learned, I mean, I have a degree in social psychology. He has a degree in business administration. And we use that a lot in our business. And we have lots of experience. I have lots of experience running other people's businesses and being a part of, the trenches and being in management. Joe has been in management since he was 14 years old. And then we run a business together. So, there's a lot of reasons why you should, tune in and everything, but I'm just going to be really honest with everybody that I don't have the perfect formula, but I have a lot of experiences and I have a lot of knowledge, and I have an understanding of what a reselling business is. And I have an understanding of how to, solve problems when they come to it. Joe and I, we run into problems pretty much every day. If you watch our vlog, there's a small problem. There's a small problem in almost every vlog. Like, we're following this flea market, but there's a reason why I put these small tidbits of situations and issues in my vlog. Like, last time is because we were trying to figure out how to ship some scrap phones, and before that it was we had issues with our internet. And I'm posting these videos and I'm doing all of this not just because I'm trying to fill up some time, but because I want you to see that we run into problems every week. We run into problems every day. We run into problems all the time. And I can't solve all of your problems for you, but I can show you how I solve problems, and I can show you how I diagnose things in the business and how we fix them together, how we communicate, how we do all of those things, so that you can take that and say, okay, how can I use this to build up my business?
Yeah. I mean, I think on YouTube, it gets very, social media gets very dangerous because most of the time you're only seeing people's highlight reels of their life. And then that comparison thing jumps in. You're like, man, these people are doing so awesome and successful, and they look totally happy, but like, people generally don't really talk about their problems or the downfalls, the mistakes that they made. They just give you this highlight reel, a lot of different reasons. One, they want to be liked. They want people. I think on YouTube, it's social media, it's hard because if you feel like if you let people know your failures, well, then people will find out that you're a fraud, which you're not a fraud. You're just having experiences. But like, people are just afraid of being rejected, or that they're going to lose their status, that people will think that maybe they're not this big successful reseller. And, we don't want that. Like, we aren't the most successful retailers. Like, we've made lots of mistakes. But that's also, why we do this. in YouTube to let people know that, hey, like, there's, especially in the realm of liquidation, like, there's a lot of money you can, in reselling period, there's a lot of money like you can use. But like, we could have used the videos when we started buying truckloads of, like, this is what you need to watch out for, like, this is what you don't do, have like all the videos you talk about, you know, buying things with how you're going to sell them in mind. Like, all that information would have done us amazing this time last year. But their information wasn't out there. So that's like, we're so adamant about sharing the experiences, you know, about selling items on Amazon. Like, you know, when we started selling the liquidated goods on Amazon, even though we were selling them in used condition, like, there wasn't anybody out there telling you not to do it. Like, you actually find the opposite of people saying, you know, go to thrift stores and buy stuff and then go and sell it on Amazon, or go to this, sell it on Amazon. Like, that's just dangerous stuff.
I mean, it's people's livelihood, you know, and it's one of those things where I think, you know, reselling is not the easy way out. Like, it's not an easy job. It's not an easy thing to do, but anybody can do it. But you need to be equipped. I know right now, I try to post them every Monday. Every now and then we might get like a Tuesday video or something. This last week, because of computer issues, I couldn't even post one at all. So, but
that's fixed now. We got a new computer.
Yay! But you know, we've been focusing a lot on Facebook Marketplace just for the rest of this month. And then we'll move on to something else. But the reason why we decided to do Facebook Marketplace videos is because I feel like it is a very great way to make money locally when you're selling things, especially things like if you're sourcing from pallets and you've got things that you can't sell online for whatever reason, you know. And so we're really focusing on that, and we're posting videos that we wish we had known and wish we had before we even started doing it.
Yep. And plus Facebook, I'm telling you, they are positioning themselves to be a major player in an online marketplace. Like, the way that they're setting stuff up, plus like Facebook, they're running out of ways to make money from people. So like, they're creating one with reselling. Like, they're going to start charging at some point for it because there's just so much money out there. Like, they're going to do it. And Facebook has the infrastructure and the vision to be able to pull it off. So like, if you're not doing it, it's something that I would strongly consider, because Facebook, like, they're positioning themselves to be a big platform, not just for local reselling, but for online reselling also.
Yes. So yeah, this is why we're doing it. This is what we're doing. You know, if you guys have any questions about that, if there's anything you want to see us talk about, let us know. If you're interested in liquidation, we have done a ton of liquidation videos. I believe that there is a playlist. Is there a playlist?
There is. We'll be doing some more. I think moving into, you know, the new year, we're going to do some liquidation videos, some eBay tips and stuff to start off the new year, things to do, and a lot of different stuff like that. You know, it's there's so many videos that I want to do, but I'm trying to, like, you know, be somewhat focused and have some continuity.
I do want to hear, like, if you guys are like, you know, we may not get to it right away. I know we've got a 19 questions challenge we haven't had a chance to really get to. We got tagged by Reseller King.
Yeah.
So we have all these intentions of doing all of these things, but we got to make sure that we're
in a big period of transition. It's like, you know, it's you know, Jessica we had
hit my dream.
We did. We had our nanny was working full-time hours watching the kids, and we realized, like, you know, we did that to create freedom in the business, but then we weren't actually doing what we want to do with the kids. Like, we were just paying somebody to watch our kids, but we actually wanted to be the ones to homeschool. So then we cut, you know, Jessica back, and then now even more so, it's like we're going to be transitioning away from that completely, where it's just going to be Jessica and I watching the kids and taking turns with the kids. So now we're trying to find that flow and a good way of life, so that we can still do all the things that we're wanting to do. So like, we're not perfect. Like, we've got some kinks and we've got some.
We have not arrived.
Yes.
We just not like these
all-knowing
people. But I think this is a beautiful place to be able to share my experiences with you. Like, we don't want to share our experiences from a place of we've already arrived. We want to show you the dirty, hard, uncomfortable processes because we know that you're going through those too. And that, I think, is where the strength comes in. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I'm 100% qualified to tell you how to run your business, but I am 100% qualified to tell you what I've done in mine, and what worked and what didn't work, and how we're going to change that, and how we're going to do stuff. And so, yeah, there's some people. Hold on one second. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Maui Delight says, exactly, it's your experience and knowledge that motivates me. Pure honesty. Thank
Sweet.
you. I appreciate that. I mean, that is really something that we want to deliver on that. So that you say that without being like me telling you that that's what we're trying to do means a lot. How is the flea market booth? Reseller King, we have one more setup video. We have one more setup video. I just finished it, so we'll post that tomorrow of how it's set up, and then the next week I'll post, because I wanted to give. I've been collecting information and stuff, but the first week was kind of slow. The second week has picked up, so I'm wondering if there's something to this. Like, it's kind of a slow start, but it's kind of picking up. So I'll be sharing more about that. I'm not gonna say like it blew my socks off awesome. I think there's a lot of things that we need to learn. And Joe and I are probably going to go up there at some point, maybe tomorrow or Monday, and see about looking at what's sold so that we can share that with you, figure out how we're going to how we're going to do all of that. So I'm not going to say it's a huge success, but I am going to say we are selling things. So we'll see. We'll see. Let's see. All right. And it's a flip it. What's up, Home Skillet? Let's see. I've been thinking about doing truckloads of tools from Lowe's.
Just don't do Harbor Freight.
Don't do Harbor Freight. And if you can avoid salvage or even customer returns.
Yeah, I just make sure you get them low, low.
Not Lowe's,
like low, like 6-7% of retail.
Yeah, because the chances of them, especially if they're customer returns, the chances of them being broken or used, like heavily used, a lot of times when we've bought a couple of tools pallets, and what we have found, especially with customer returns, is that a lot of times people need them for a job. They'll use them, say it didn't work, and then return them. And so then you're finding yourselves with these used tools.
And that was mainly with Harbor Freight.
Yes.
It was horrible. You'll see it.
I've never bought a Lowe's pallet, so I can't tell you specifically about Lowe's, but I can tell you about tools in general. Like, that seems to be a
even if you join that product sourcing 101 group that I was telling you about, there's lots of people in there who have bought Lowe's tools that could give you lots of advice on there.
Good idea. Yep. All right. Tommy says, Facebook Marketplace was on fire when the shipping deadlines cut off. I posted all the giftable items 2 weeks before Christmas as a test. That's smart. And it was amazing how much I moved locally that never sold online. That is a smart move. That was good.
I think it's something that we had prepared to do this year, but just because we didn't prepare to do it, I'd thought about doing, but never prepared to do it because of life circumstances.
But it's good to know that worked for you, because we're going to probably do that next year then, if it really worked. If anybody else had done that, let me know how y'all did with that, because we are already working on 2020's quarter 4. What we're writing it down, trying to make sure what worked and what didn't, so we can go back to it. So if that really worked for you, Tommy, I think we're going to try it next year also. So that's cool. And it's a flip. It says, I can't believe they're not charging for payments through Messenger, PayPal.
I know, man. It's crazy.
Neither. Yeah.
They've got man, there's my eyebrow again. It's doing it. Do that.
I got a zit on mine. It keeps bothering me.
It's crazy. I don't know how they're doing it without charging a fee. I can't see that going on for free for forever.
Reseller King says, will you ever do storage unit buys? We've thought about it.
I want to, because it's like I've learned so much through buying liquidation and then buying cell phones. Like, I learned by doing, and there's so much out there that I would like to learn about different type, like antiques, collectibles, all those things that I don't think I couldn't learn just by watching a YouTube video or doing it. Like, I think just having so much stuff that you buy and then having to process and work through, finding out its value, like, I would love to do that just so that I could learn.
Yeah.
So I'd say yes. It's we will at some point in time. It just depends, on storage space. But our storage unit, it is probably half empty now. So I'm sure we'll get some more storage. We'll get some space But I definitely want to try out buying some storage units just because it'll be fun. There's lots of potential. Plus just how much I can learn from doing it.
Dennis says, is there a place or way to see Facebook Market sold? I don't think so. I haven't found it.
I don't know if it's like, I don't know if they will show what they've sold for, because they don't even know. Like, there's no way of really knowing.
Yeah.
And I think at some point, once you see Facebook, I think right now they're trying to gather information, because now when you mark an item as sold or you end it, you have the option. It's got like 4 questions about, did you sell it in Facebook? Did you sell it on another online platform? Are you just ending it? I'd rather not say, because they're trying to collect information to see what their profit potential would be, in my opinion. So I think once you start seeing the questions change a little bit more, then you'll know, like, all right, it's going to be soon Facebook will start charging.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the way that I do like price comps locally is I just see what's selling.
And you have to really.
I mean, it's kind of an experiment. There's not as much information out there as there is on other platforms.
Yep.
So that is
it's really just learning, kind of like if you have certain items that you're wanting to sell, certain categories, is just get on Facebook and see what people are selling, how much they're selling for. And then on Facebook, you can see, like, when they put the little slash, when people reduce prices, you can kind of start to see. And then once you know that they've fallen off, they've sold for at least, or for no more than that amount. So you can kind of get an idea. But I usually just, as a way, I'll check eBay prices, see what they are, and Amazon prices, and then just price them for what I think they might sell. But then, one way that we really learned about what sold for more is that, or what items would sell for more on Facebook than online, is when you list something for a certain price, and then within like 4 hours, you've got like 30 or 40 people asking about it. And then you start to notice trends. Okay, well, these types of items, a lot of people want them in my area. And because a lot of people want them, we're going to be able to charge more. So if you find yourself on Facebook and you list something and a lot of people ask about that item very early on, then you know that the price is good. It could probably be a little bit priced more, especially if a lot of people are wanting it.
Yep. And then Reseller King says, have you advertised Facebook Marketplace on your flea market booth? No, I have not. I've been working on trying to advertise things, and then the holidays hit, and it just got, so that was my bad. I kind of let it fall.
We will.
But yes, we do plan on it. It's now that the holidays are over, I don't necessarily.
And I've been floating around the idea too about with advertising our YouTube channel. Like, we had our first encounter with the first day we went to the flea market booth. There's a very nice gentleman who actually watches our channel. He saw us. He's like, I've been watching your YouTube channel for like a year. And
cool.
But I don't know, like, even with that, like, I know there's some people who do YouTube, that resellers, they put a little YouTube thing in their like a little business card, something talks about their YouTube channel. I don't know if any of y'all do that. I've always been afraid, like, I don't want them to know, like, how much I paid for this, or to even find out, and then how much they paid for it. So, like, I haven't ever done that before, but I think, I don't think people care about that.
Well,
I don't know.
Also, you got to keep in mind, too, like, at some point, people are like, oh, this is featured on a YouTube channel.
Yeah, so, I mean, let me know what y'all think about that.
I don't know. Hey, Lisa, how are you? Good to see you.
Lisa, you're always so encouraging to us.
Yeah, I like Lisa. I always look forward to Lisa.
Every time you leave a comment, it's always so very encouraging.
Yes.
I greatly appreciate it.
And Tommy says it may not work in all areas, of course, where he was talking about his Facebook Marketplace. He sold a lot of stuff before Christmas. It may not work in all areas. My state is very small, easy to get around. And I think that's true. Like, you have to figure out what your climate is in your particular area for Facebook Marketplace. I guess I wouldn't do Facebook, try to move everything to Facebook Marketplace 2 to 3 weeks before Christmas if you've never sold on Facebook at all and you know nothing about the climate. So that does make sense. I know that our area is really good for Facebook Marketplace, so I think that we would do very well.
Yeah, and there's a way, like,
if we did that. So
I've got to get it. I just have to set the time aside to do it with Shopify. You can integrate your Shopify store with your eBay store to where it'll pull all of your eBay listings from Shopify or from eBay into Shopify. and then you could integrate your Shopify store with a Facebook page. So like it'll integrate it in there. I know you can do it. I haven't set the time aside to do it. I need to. So I'm going to.
Dennis says he's going to try and get some small furniture pieces, chairs, tables, lamps. Yeah,
I would love that. If I could get pallets and truckloads of that stuff.
I would love to do furniture, especially like Target.com furniture, because Target furniture is actually pretty nice for the price, you know, and everything. And I enjoy it. So I would love to be able to do that. And I'm hoping soon, maybe that might be something we could do this year. I don't know if we'll be doing truckloads, but getting a few pallets.
It's still like a big, when I think about warehouses and liquidation, like I always like, I just want to get a warehouse.
I want you to sell that, but like I said,
buy Target.com furniture. And I've talked, there's a lady, it's in Indiana. She's from here in Arkansas. I forget the name of the place. But when I was researching different pallets and stuff and truckloads, I got her from I forget who it was from, but her and her husband have been doing it for like 15 years. Like they've been doing, so like they've just built like 100,000 square foot warehouse because they're doing so well with pretty much Target.com furniture. So
yeah, let's see. Lisa, our holidays were great. I hope your holidays were good. We spent a lot of time with family, and that was nice because I like hanging out with them. We saw my side of the family last Saturday, his side of the family on Sunday, and then we just had a quiet just with the 5 of us at home on Christmas, and it was beautiful.
It was nice. It was
not a lot of stress.
It was our first Christmas at home, like at our home. Like we usually will go to her parents or my family's house, and
it was nice, and I really enjoyed. One of the things I do like about both sides of our family is nobody's particularly stress-inducing. Everybody's just like, okay, well, when I just want to hang out with you, whatever. Let us know. You know, we're off from this day to this day, so pick one of the days. And I'm like, okay. And so, like, setting things up among our family, it's one of the things I am so grateful for between the two of our families. They just want to see us. They don't need, to be, crazy or anything. So that's really nice. So anyway, I hope your holidays were really good as well. Shane says he was worried about that at first, but doesn't worry about it anymore. If the buyer's mad about how much it's marked up, just don't buy it, which is true, and I think it adds a little bit of value, I think, when it gets showcased somewhere. Yeah. So part of me is kind of like, And
it's one thing, we've got to get this done. Like, we've got to get our Shopify store up and running. I don't know, I guess it could be eBay too, but our website, we've got some things, like we have a timeline of things that we have to do before, April, May, to really take advantage of things.
Yeah.
So like we're on timeline. There's a lot of things that we've got to get done because I know people will, because of unique opportunities, people are going to want to purchase things from us just because.
Yeah. So, let's see. Lisa still needs to watch our Facebook Marketplace video. It's on your to-do list. Let me know what you think about it.
Yeah.
I split. Yeah, I try to keep those vlog videos like under 10 minutes or so because I don't want to waste time, and I just want to keep people updated on what's going on with us. So I actually split it into 2. So then the second half of that video is finishing getting the flea market set up, and that's going to post tomorrow. I just finished the
and
video.
We're really trying to, we like making money on YouTube, but like we also, like, I don't like watching videos that are just so full of ads. I don't know, like if it's you, if you do it, like I've started watching videos, and like if they've got like several ad breaks in the video, I just turn it off. So like, I've actually even gone back into some of our older videos. I know that I was doing it because I'm like, oh, money, we're getting views, like let's get money. But like I'm like, do I really, like, it's maybe a half a penny per that view. I'm like, is it really worth it? So like I've gone back through and taken out a lot of those ad breaks in the middle of the videos, unless it's one of our, like, we've got some unboxing videos that are like an hour long,
and
that I still have some, but they've getting like 45-minute watch time, which is a lot different. So like, I know if you don't do YouTube, like you can't insert the ad break in a video if it's less than 10 minutes. So we've been trying to keep a lot of our videos, the vlogs, to like less than 10 minutes. One, because the engagement, like there's lots of, majority of the video gets watched.
Y'all are super busy.
Yeah.
And we want to keep you updated.
We don't like just, it's great to make money, but at the same time, like, is really that half penny worth somebody not watching it? So things that we've been flirting with and playing around with.
And to flip, it says they've done some Target furniture. It's so, but that could be my area. That and we've thought about that as well. I mean, I don't think we would buy like a whole truckload of Target.com furniture until we've done a couple of test runs. But we did, when we bought like general merchandise pallets and things like that, we ended up getting furniture in. We posted on Facebook Marketplace, and it sells so quick.
It does.
And I'm sitting here thinking, like, this general area, it's very like a farmhouse themed in this region. Like, it's very huge, very big. Like, some people call Arkansas like southern. I feel like we're south, but a lot of other people think we're more Midwest. But regardless, those particular regions, like the deals that Target has with,
and plus, I mean,
like
I don't
Joanna
know.
Gaines and all of that, the furniture sells really fast because it's what people are already looking for. It's the style that they already have.
Yeah, and I think the people in our town, like, it's a college town. There's like 70 to 80,000 people here, and I would say, I mean, I haven't looked at the demographics, but I'd say the biggest segment of the population is probably 30 and 40-year-olds, which especially 30-year-olds, they're very cost savvy in our area. So like they're looking for deals. They're okay with buying used as long as it's in good condition and they can find a good deal about it. Yeah. But there's not a lot of those places out there that have those types of things.
Yeah. And it's a flip it. If I'm not buying like, perfect, like not untouched, like overstock items, even if I'm buying shelf pulls, like I want to put it together because I just don't know what's in the box and what, all of that. So, and what condition it's in. I don't want to be like, oh yeah, this is unused, but there's a huge rip down the center and I didn't know it because I didn't put it together. So I think there's a couple of perks to putting it together. I don't put it together. Joe puts it together because I get frustrated.
What's going on, Shane? Thank you so much for that.
Yay!
I don't know. Like, I thought the show was, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, we were going to do it, and then it didn't happen. So I'm not quite sure what's
but I don't even there. Like with, I don't know. It's like, I don't know about the Friday morning shows. I thought it was done. Like the show was ending. So I don't really know. I do know, like with the changes that we're making, morning shows are very hard for us to do, just because, like, if we do the show together, then that means that Whitney would have to watch the kids, which it's okay with. But when we pull her away for an hour, that's like $300-400 that we're losing. And I would say it's probably $100 or $200 that we're losing in profit potential by doing so. So I don't know. Like it's I don't know. Like I'm open to it, but not like on an every week thing.
Yep.
So
we got like maybe like 2 or 3 more minutes. We have to go inside.
But thank you so much for that super chat.
Does anybody have anything they want to say? Any questions? We'll be going back to Wednesday afternoons. Oh, I'm choking.
Are we gonna do the first next week?
Yeah, why not? Yeah,
we'll ring in the new year with y'all.
We're starting Whole30 also on the 1st. So.
I thought we were going to start on the Monday.
No, we're going to start it on the 1st.
If you don't know what Whole30 is, we'll probably
know.
Give you some tidbits, but it's pretty much a reset of your body, getting away from sugars. Not necessarily sugars. I'm talking about processed sugars.
Well, the whole point of Whole30 is you basically eat only whole foods, lean meats, things like that, no nitrates, nothing like that may possibly cause an issue to your body, so that you can strategically reintroduce it back into your body and find out how it affects you. So you do 30 days, no processed sugars, no processed foods, no breads, even things like beans you don't do, because a lot of people have like issues with beans, no rice. Even though those things are perfectly healthy, it's not a sustainable diet. It's just something that, it's pretty much meat, veggies, like good carbs, good fats, things like that.
I felt a lot better when we did it last year.
I discovered that my body does not tolerate gluten well, which I had been eating gluten for so long, disease or anything like that. But like I had given up gluten for 30 days. that it was what was making me feel so tired and holding weight and just, just not having a very good, gut biome and all of that. And so when I actually quit it, I was like, after about 5 or 6 days after I got that initial like sugar, like headache and everything.
It sucks so bad.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not fun. But after you get over that, I mean, Joe and I were like, I told Joe on like day 4, I looked at him, I was like, I can't talk to you at all today.
Yeah, we stayed clear of each other for
like
the first
he was like, I can't
4
talk to you
days
today either. So yeah, but I did Whole30, and then I came back and I was like, I had eaten a piece of pizza crust, and when I ate a piece of pizza crust, I actually passed out in the hallway.
She did. I thought she was doing like I don't know why she would do it, but I thought she was walking in the hallway and she just had the idea to like try to walk up the wall, the sides. But no,
I passed out.
She passed out.
So I was like, oh, yeah. But I mean, like, I don't pass out every time I eat gluten, but I had just not had it for so long, and my body was like, what is this? Woo! That is the biggest super chat we've ever had in our entire life. Thanks, Maui's Delight. That was exciting.
But she does almost pass out now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, don't eat that.
I have to.
And then she's like,
I'm like, you're not the boss of me.
I'm like, you're going to regret it. You're going to regret it.
And I do.
And then she does.
Yeah.
And then I don't do that. I told you so. I just shame her from across the room.
He doesn't do that either. But yeah, so we're gonna do Whole30 again because I need a reset. So.
Yeah. So you when you get us on the live stream the next Wednesday, we'll be past the sugar. If you've never cut out sugars before, you should do it.
That's one of the reasons why I want to do it on Wednesday. Like start it on Wednesday.
Oh,
because
yeah.
if we were to start on Monday and we do a live show on Wednesday, we'd be like, what do you guys want?
Yeah.
Y'all's reselling businesses suck.
Is that what you do?
No.
Yeah, that's what lame people do. Lame people tell other people that their business sucks. I'm just saying,
like, that's what I would be like if I started on Monday and then Wednesday I was on election. That's the peak of the sugar withdrawals. Yeah. And then you guys would be asking questions. I'd be like, that's a dumb question.
I did caffeine and sugar the last time. So I don't know if I'll do that again. I don't know. But if I don't have any other questions, we have gone over our...
Sorry. That's like $7. That's exciting.
It is. We appreciate it. If y'all haven't hit that like button, hit that like button for us. And got that video coming out tomorrow and then on Monday. But we'll be here next Wednesday. We appreciate y'all so much. Y'all are very encouraging and supportive to us. And if there's anything that you would like to see us touch on, make sure y'all put that in the comment section. And have a great rest of the week. Don't forget, the Chiefs are playing on Sunday. So make sure y'all root for the Chiefs. It's almost playoff time.
See you guys. We love you guys very much.
Peace.